Hey you beautiful big heads, it's your boy Zacho and we're back to some more Wuthering Waves content. Now today's video will be pretty quick but pretty important because we're talking about how to not ruin your account and who to choose when it comes to, the beginner banner and the 5 stars that you will be able to choose from. So if you didn't know, when it comes to the beginner banner, there are 5 characters you get to pick from, and then once you select that character, as you summon on it, that will be your guaranteed 5 star that you'll be going towards. So your choices are GNG, the Wind Gauntlet user. You have Linyang, who is an Ice Gauntlet user. You have Encore, who is a Fire Rectifier user. You have Calcharo, who is a Electric Broadblade user. And then you also have Verina, who is a Light Rectifier user. Now, out of all these characters, who is the best? Honestly, it really doesn't matter. One, because they're all going to be on the standard banner, so eventually you will get them all by just losing 50-50s in general. So, yeah. But the main thing you really want to focus on is how said character plays and if they're actually appealing to you. Because it doesn't matter how strong a character is, right? If you don't like them, you won't be having fun using them. And that's what I'm all about. I just want to have fun, right? So that's what we're going to be talking about. We're just going to be looking at the characters, how they play and whatnot, talking about them. So you can better choose who you want. Because I believe that you should just choose who you want. That's how you don't ruin your account. You just choose who the hell you want. And again, shout out to Narushio, because if you see gameplay, it's probably going to be from them. And they will be linked in the description below. Also, don't forget, all this comes from the CBT2, so, all this could be wrong by the time the game actually comes out, but it won't matter, because we're going to talk about it now, and then we'll worry about it when it comes out, right? Alright, shit. First up is Verina, who is the Light Rectifier user, so she uses ranged attacks, and then at a certain point, she just can do slide attacks. Now look, I haven't, played the game, honestly, I can only go off of what I've seen. But yeah, so she has the ranged attacks, and then at some point she can start doing slide attacks. She controls plants and whatnot. She slides on those plants and just rams the enemy. So like, if you play Tony Hawk's Pro Skater, she might be the character for you. But yeah, so you just mix all that together. You just mix the ranged attacks with the sliding headbutt tackles, and then you just have like a giant cocoon of flowers that can chomp on the enemy a little bit. Yeah, so that's going to be your Verina gameplay, and since she is a healer, you probably won't have her out most of the time because, she isn't there for damage. She's there to support your team overall, so you will just have to pair with, DPSs. So in terms of who you can pair up, honestly, that one's up to you because she's a support. She's going to support regardless. So, she's going to heal. So whoever you put her with is going to just be whoever you put her with in terms of DPS. But you have many choices in that regard. Next up, we have Calcharo, who's an Electric Broadblade user. His sword almost as big as my dick. He pretty much uses his basic attacks mixed with his heavies and his skill to release a flurry of relentless attacks. That man slashing left, right, going crazy, looking like Sephiroth, nice and pretty, just the way I like him.
What do you mean by that?
But yeah, out of everybody right now, he probably is one of my higher picks of who I'll personally be choosing just because of how cool he fucking looks. Literally, that's it. I just want that experience of being a cool motherfucker. That's it. But yeah, if you're going to pick him, you could think about picking up Mortify, because if we go down here and look at his transition skill, because I already have it pulled up, he actually increases the damage of heavy attacks. So, boom, since Calcharo likes using heavy attacks so much, put these two together, you can get a nice little damage buff. Or you can also think about going to Yinlan, who also just increases electric damage by 20% with her outro skill. So either one of those characters works really good with Calcharo. And then in your last slot, because sets of 3, you can think about running someone like Baizi, because she is a support. So you gotta have so you'll have your main DPS, your secondary DPS slash support for the character, and then you'll have a healer. Or if you're crazy and you're just that good, like I said, if you're good enough, it doesn't matter. So if your skill is at the point to where you just won't get hit, you just won't get hit, you can use Mortify and land with Calcharo and just do big damage. Just make sure you don't get hit. Next up, we have Linyang, who is a Ice Gauntlet user, and he pretty much uses his basic attacks mixed with his skill to do combos and just another form of just relentless attacking using his skill. But after a certain point, then you can switch into his leaping form, which then he puts on his little lion and dragon, whatever the fuck helmet, and then he just starts going around leaping into the enemy, kicking them, showing him what them feet do. But me personally, I'm not too interested in them, just because if I'm going to use gauntlets, I want to use these hands. I want to go mink, 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 mink with my hands and not my feet, because the feet were meant for walking, but these hands were meant for talking. So yeah. But if you are going to pick Linyang, a character you could use him with is Sanhua, because with her outro skill, if we go down here real quick, she increases ice damage by 30%. So putting those two together honestly wouldn't be that bad. Oh, yeah, and then the last slot, you can just have a support again. So next up, we have Shinji, who is a Wind Gauntlet user, who's more up my alley in terms of how they fight, because they just, it's hands, baby. Constant mink, 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 mink. All day, the mink. You know, minking them up. Gotta shut them in. These hands is ready to eat for everyone. Jesus. But she's more of a support slash secondary DPS, or sub DPS, however you want to, say it. When it comes to support capabilities, she actually can increase resonance liberation damage, but you gotta keep in mind some ultimates aren't, scaled off of, well, resonance liberation damage. Like some are considered heavy attacks, so you just gotta pay attention to, what you're doing there in terms of using her as a support in that regard. But she also has counters, and she can make a shield and heal. So she does have sort of a, counter playstyle with slowing down the fight, because when she does make her shield, it does take a little bit of time. But I have heard as well that they are considering reworking her, or well, fixing her a little bit, because apparently she was kind of clunky to use because of how much she slowed down when she was trying to get said shield and whatnot. So she could be different on release, because you gotta keep in mind this is all beta stuff. But if you want to push her more towards that damage role instead of, support, you use someone like Alto with her, who will increase wind damage by 30%. So yeah, that's what you could do there. And last but not least, we have Encore, who is our Fire Rectifier user. So she does have some range attacks, but when she uses her ultimate, she goes into like this little gremlin, little fucking demon mode. She starts slashing and going all fast a little place, which I love. When I saw that, she was definitely on my radar, because now it's her and Calcharo who are the two characters I'm looking at that pick as my beginner banner, because shit, it looks so damn cool. Again, that's all I'm looking for, is cool shit. But as she uses her attacks and whatnot, like her attack and skill, you do have the opportunity to do an additional attack, which like she'll glow, and then you can do an additional basic attack input, and then she'll do an additional attack on top of her current attack. So it's pretty cool. It adds a little time aspect to her kit. And then again, her ultimate just changes how she fights, which is pretty fucking cool. And since she does use resonance skills and heavy attacks, you could think about using her with Mortify, who, increases the heavy attack damage. Or you can use her with Takui, who also, let's go down here, increases resonance skill damage, because going back to her, if we go down here, resonant liberation in her ult, the cosmic heavy attack is considered heavy attack damage, and then the skill is, well, skill damage. So there really isn't no, resonance damage in here, so yeah. But that is all the characters that you could choose from, which is pretty nice. So hopefully, this little insight of how I feel about the characters allows you to, pick who you want, because that's all that should matter, is you picking who you want. Who looks cool to you, that's all that matters. But yeah, hope you enjoyed the video. Like and subscribe, all that good stuff. I will see you on the next one. Love you guys, and bye-bye.